Were you surprised, Tom Curran, that when the league smacked down Stephen Ross and the Dolphins, that part of the reason why was tampering of Brady when he was a Patriot? Did that surprise you, Tom?
Yeah. The August portion surprised me a lot. It wouldn't have surprised me at all if it started in January. And certainly, I spoke to folks within this organization here in New England about pre-free agency and was told, look, we're not going to make a big deal about other teams getting in contact with Tom during this window. That was, early March, late February. The reason being they wanted him to make a decision that he was comfortable with if he indeed chose to stay or go. I was told that point blank. We're not going to chase people all over the place for tampering. We understand he's a big boy. But to have it happen in August, I think, is very eye-opening and really not permanently hurtful to Brady's legacy here. I think in the first couple of days, people are like, oh, my God, he's a traitor. It'll fade. But it just shows the level of dysfunction that existed and the anger that Brady had when he realized they're really not going to keep me here through the end of my career. Well, screw that. Doesn't make it right, but I think that was his mindset.
So he was the one who reached out to the Dolphins, or they had heard through the grapevine because Brady's tight with, a member of the right, Bruce Beal, right, and that when Brady was informed, I guess, that the contract wasn't going to be reconfigured in a way that would keep him there prior to the season. And you've come on this show and have said that that's when Brady was kind of knew he was done with New England and went through that year, and they made the playoffs. And we all know that he lost to the Titans in the playoffs to end his career there in New England. So
I don't know who called who. I don't know who texted who, but when you look at it, Brady was still going through the exercise of trying to get a new contract with the Patriots. He wanted a 2-year, $50 million, fully guaranteed contract that was identical to what Drew Brees had gotten with New Orleans. And in the end, that's not what he got. The Patriots announced that it's like a 2-year, $73 million extension, and it was written in smoke. It didn't exist. We spent 5 hours thinking, oh, Brady's here. I'm like, that's not what it is. This is a bogus second year. It's a void year. So once the Patriots did that and tried to package it as, hey, he's here, and he knew that he wasn't here, and he knew that his 2019 salary was really, again, hinged to a bunch of options and bonuses and things, that's when he would have said, that's it, I'm not staying. So who made the initial contact in August? I have absolutely no way of knowing, nor am I going to pretend to. But that was the tipping point.
Can you blame Brady? I mean, he's probably sitting there saying, well, this is enough of this. I'll stay here and let me start taking a look around about the next year, right? I mean,
I think a lot of people do blame him up here.
I don't know why. I mean,
It's the traitorous aspect of it. I mean, it's a division rival. You're ringing him up. And then to have the season he did, and he was, like a gassy baby all year, his face. I think people look at that and say, well, he wasn't all in. I don't believe that personally. I can't imagine Tom Brady being anything less than all in.
If he wasn't all in, Tom Curran, why is he attempting to make it, he's making a throw when the playoff game was essentially over and he throws a pick six. Like, that's the way he wants his last throw to be, for New England? I mean, if he was out, he'd have basically, just went through the motions there. Not trying whatever he needed to try to get down the field, even though that thing was toast. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I know that's just one example. You were around the whole year, so I wouldn't know. There
were interesting moments in that, and I don't want to go on too long. You almost out of time with me?
No, go for it.
It was interesting, right during that period of time, they're at the Titans for joint practices, and Brady's out there. He's throwing to Braxton Berrios, and I think Hogan might have been hurt. Danny Etling's running around out there. And it's just going to a gunfight with a butter knife, as one Patriots coach once said to me about the offensive group that year. But there was a player who was out of position pre-snap. And Brady didn't gesture him to the other side. He pointed to the coach and then pointed to the player so that the coach would move the player. And I just found that interesting, myself and a number of other people, too. And maybe I've made too much of this over the years, but I think that was kind of a, you know what? You don't include me in the game planning. You don't ask my advice on how you want to set things up. You don't want me coaching. You do it. It's not my job anymore.
And they still started 8-0 that year. You know, I mean, so, man, it's always interesting in that neighborhood.